Well, hello everybody. I'm Tim Tamashiro. Welcome to Level Up Conversations here on behalf of TEDxYYC. We're very, very happy to be here with you in this time that is challenging. And the good news is that we have some people that are going to tell you about how they're helping with the situation with COVID-19 right now. Very, very happy to introduce two incredible young women that are doing good in the community. We're featuring Maria Hoover and Dr. Breanne Everett, and I'm just going to pull up them on the screen here now, and I'm going boom, boom, boom. There they are, all three in the room together. Hello, Maria and Breanne.
Hello.
Hi.
So happy to have you here. I know that your lives have gotten incredibly busy and incredibly, probably more complicated. But the good news is that you have ways that you're helping in the community. Maria, I want to start with you. And I also want to preface that both Maria and Dr. Everett are past TEDxYYC speakers. And so they've gone through that experience, and that's why they're part of the show today. I want to start with you, Maria. Can you tell us about what it is that you're doing to be able to help Albertans during this time of COVID?
Yeah. So basically, once with all this started, we have a makerspace with we have 3 laser cutters, for example, that my husband is managing the makerspace, and Make Fashion works out of the makerspace. So it was a no-brainer for us to just see how we can help. And so we started making prototypes for face shields, and later on, one of our other members that their business is everything foam related, and other businesses like making orthotics. And we thought, why not partner with them? Why not, bring in expertise from our own members that are here at the Makerspace? And we started developing prototypes, and, Shannon connected with Breanne, and since then we've been working together with her and a few other organizations making PPE like ear savers and masks and hand sanitizer too.
You're making all three.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Now, you said ear savers, masks, and sanitizer. Can you show us what an ear saver looks like? Because, most people wouldn't know what an ear saver is.
So this goes attached to the back of your mask.
Oh.
So you attach it to, it just relieves the stress of having it on your ears all day, right? Especially for healthcare workers.
Yeah.
So this is the way you would attach it, and then people can adjust it to fit better on the back of their heads.
Back of their head, so that it doesn't have doesn't have the stress of that little elastic over the back part of their ears. Now it just goes on the back. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Now you have face masks and sanitizers as well. We'll show that in a little bit. I want to just jump over to Breanne and Dr. Everett. You've started up an organization called helpingalberta.com. Tell us about what your initiative is all about.
Absolutely. Yeah. So one of the areas of need that I, as well as a group of other volunteers, were able to identify early on was the requirement to get adequate protective equipment on our frontline workers as soon as possible wherever it was needed. And so we founded this organization, Helping Alberta, to be able to facilitate bringing in both monetary donations as well as PPE or personal protective equipment donations from the community. So really trying to mobilize this grassroots force to be bringing in that equipment and then coordinating distribution to sites that didn't have enough so that they could protect their frontline workers, the people that they care for, and then by extension, the whole community.
Wow. That's a lot of moving parts to pull together.
Yeah. And luckily, the group of people in Calgary that have just mobilized to support this effort has been incredible. we're not even a month old, and we've had 70 people volunteer. So that whole group of people is now supporting the initiative, all on a volunteer basis, wanting to help in whatever way they possibly can. So it's been actually really amazing seeing how Calgary is just mobilized.
It really is heartwarming to see everybody that's jumping on board to be able to help in whatever the way they can. I will do a little plug right now that there are ways that you as viewers can help out with both these organizations. Dr. Everett's organization is called helpingalberta.com, and you can visit that website, and there's a way that you can donate both equipment and financial donations to their GoFundMe page. Maria has an organization as well that is called makefashion.ca, but you can donate through their organization called fuse33.ca. The link for both of these donation sites are available just in the description below. So if you can do that, that would be absolutely amazing. And I'm just going to take a minute and talk to Maria, if that's okay, Breanne. Okay. I'm just going to have a little chat with her, and I'll come back and I'll talk with you here in a moment. Here, bear with me. I'm just going to switch over the information. Maria, tell me about the type of stuff that you're building. You have specialized equipment that helps you make face masks and ear savers, and apparently you can make sanitizer as well. What type of equipment are you making use of?
So we have three laser cutters. The biggest laser cutter that we have is 4 by 8 feet. So we can produce larger quantities in a very short amount of time. I think because we are dividing tasks, I took on the mask making process, and we have another maker working in his home, and then we have 2 or 3 people working on masks here. But so we have a few sewing machines available, but the laser cutters are the most important ones for making this right now, just because they speed up the process so much. We tested a few things on 3D printers, but the amount of time that it would take to make, 1,000 units, it would definitely be a lot longer.
Yeah.
So we can make, for example, like this in 3 seconds, right? And whether it's like a 3D printer would take about 2 hours to make.
Oh, okay.
So it really changes how we can manufacture this as a fast pace.
So with those laser cutters, are they making several units at the exact same time, or is it cutting out with laser 1 unit at a time?
Oh, I can't tell you exactly how many we can fit in one sheet, but just to throw a number, I think about 200 in a 4 by 8 sheet.
Wow.
So they cut in about, if this takes 10 seconds to make, then you can make 200 of these in an hour, for example.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Yeah. Now, ear savers are not the only things that you're making, but you're also making face masks. Do you have an example of a face mask you can show us there?
Yeah, so this is one of the first prototypes. So some of this have gone to also stores for people that are working with grocery stores, right, or pharmacies, for example.
Okay.
The ones that are going to Breanne, for example, there's a different design that has been already approved and a few changes happening, but it's not like this. It's a little bit easier for healthcare workers to wear.
I wanted to make that important point that you and Breanne Everett are working together. Breanne has placed an order through your maker organization for how many units so that you can supply them to front line healthcare workers. How many units?
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So there's a number of initiatives going on. There's the work that's distributing into the community with Helping Alberta, and then through my company Orpix, we're helping bringing some product into Alberta Health Services as well. Mm-hmm. And so we're bringing 12,000 units through that process to frontline workers as well.
That's incredible. Holy cow. So 12,000 units, we got the order placed with Maria, and you have volunteers literally pumping these things out as fast as you can, and then delivering them to the warehouse that Helping Alberta has set up. Where is the warehouse at, by the way, Breanne?
It's in the locomotive crossing building in Ramsey. So that's a building that's just adjacent to Inglewood. It's the address for the warehouse is on our helpingalberta.com website, and the donation center hours are between 9 to 3. So we're open accepting donations from the public every day of the week.
Okay, that's amazing. Back to you for a second here, Maria. Maria, can you tell us how many makers are involved in the process of making the things that you're supplying?
I think we have about 8 people working. So we split times and like we have different shifts that we come in and work. And because we're in a makerspace, we have about, spread out in 8,500 square feet space. So we have masks available for our members while they're working on things. And so just to show you, this is like the hand sanitizer that we have available here. So we're always like making sure that we're also keeping everything and everyone as clean as possible.
And therein lies part of the challenge, is that if you're going to be
Yeah.
having people coming to that space on an ongoing basis, do you have an agreement in place with your makers that says that they will not be leaving their homes for anything except for food and the necessities, and then coming to the space? How does that work?
Yeah, so we've changed how we have access to the space. It's just to make sure that we help do our part to flatten the curve, and yeah, just make mention to everybody. They have to make appointments to come in, so we know schedules and we can keep everybody in their own space.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. I'm going to go over and talk to Dr. Everett here for a moment. Bear with me. I have to push a few buttons here. We have Dr. Breanne Everett here with helpingalberta.com. And Breanne, you have your organization that is set up now to be able to accept not only donations that are financial from the public, but also donations from businesses that already have PPE available. What businesses would use PPE on a regular basis?
Yeah, that's a really great question, because I think that many industries and businesses don't realize how much they can really do to help right now. So the same types of protective equipment that we use with healthcare workers on the front line are used in other industries like oil and gas, construction, dentistry, veterinary services, food preparation. Like the list really goes on and on. And what it comes down to is so face protection, things like N95 masks or basic level 1 masks, face shields. So other manufacturers that may produce shields, like Maria showed earlier on, they may have them in their stores. So face shields, gloves. So typically we like to try to bring in nitrile gloves, which are used all over the place, and then coveralls or gowns for body protection. So there's a pretty broad list of protective equipment, and it's used absolutely all over the place. And we've seen tremendous donations come in from a number of industries, suppliers. For example, Princess Auto donated 250,000 gloves yesterday.
Holy cow.
The generosity that's coming from the community and the businesses in our community has been really outstanding.
So would Princess Auto then, in that case, I mean, they would have those supplies available in their warehouse that they would be supplying to their different locations to do auto repairs?
Exactly. So they procure a lot of protective equipment that is used in many different industries that are purchasing from Princess Auto. And from day one, they've been super supportive in getting us a very large donation of masks, and now this donation of gloves that we're able to spread to those high need areas to protect our most vulnerable populations.
Yeah, it's incredible. So now, in terms of face masks, This is a confusing question, because we hear from the leaders and from experts that face masks help unless they don't help for the general public, but it's better for the face masks to go to the healthcare workers than it is for people to wear the face masks, because we're not sure if they help, but wear them. It's confusing.
The messaging has been confusing, and it's been evolving, and the evidence is also evolving around the use of face masks. But generally, the advice really comes down to making sure that medical grade equipment is preserved for our front line, because the global demand is going up. Every jurisdiction in the world is seeing an increased demand for protective equipment, and factories are trying to produce more and more equipment to meet that demand. But you just can't prepare for a pandemic of this scale in terms of being able to supply that. So we're working and we're retooling to try to get there. So really, it's about preserving that equipment for the front line, and then masking in a way to ensure that you're protecting other people from your own respiratory droplets in public. So the evolving guidance around usage of masks by the general public really comes down to that. It's not necessarily about stopping yourself from getting infected, but stopping those respiratory droplets that are coming out of your own mouth from getting into the public and on other people. So the guidance around using cloth masks, for example, or the masks that Maria has shown today, is increasingly being adopted for general use.
Okay, so I'm just bringing up a view of all three of us here again, so we can all join in the conversation. That's great. Maria, can you hold up that face mask here again? So you're building face masks. This is more for public use. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is for all us regular people. So this is how it would have. It has a wire on the nose, so you can adjust it to just avoid as much droplets or air coming out. And it just protects exactly just to fit around your face. But this is a 2-layer cotton mask. There are some others that we're making that have a filter, or a pocket, for a filter. So that's a different design that I don't have right now. But
Okay.
But that's what we're making.
That is a personal use mask.
Yeah.
That is washable.
Yeah.
It's not a single use thing, but it's washable, and then people need to wash it after every single use.
Yes.
Okay. In Japan, when I visited Japan a couple of years ago, I noticed a lot of people were wearing masks. The use for surgical masks in Japan is specific to the people who know that they are sick, so that they're not spreading their germs around. So, that therein is the use of those masks. I mean, it's not necessarily to protect themselves, it's so that they're protecting other people. Is that a viable way to think in terms of face masks?
So it's an important part of it, for sure. And I think that generally we were seeing this acceptance of use in masks in that way, where, there's the knowledge that my mask protects you, your mask protects me. And it's about protecting our communities around us. The reason why it's not just limited to that with COVID-19 is because there is a substantial portion of the population, and we're still trying to put our finger on exactly what number this is, but people that are that become infected with COVID that are test positive for COVID, but don't have any symptoms whatsoever. And it's quoted as high as 80%. Now, I don't know if that's the actual number where it's going to end up landing, but this is why it starts to become so important to just generally be masking, because we might not know that we have COVID and we could transmit it to somebody who could get very, very sick, end up in intensive care, and potentially pass away. So it's just about generally adopting those precautions so we can do as much as possible to try to flatten the curve.
Yeah. It's important. We have a comment that's come in through the TEDxYYC Facebook page. This comes from Ken Limacuelo, who is one of the vice presidents over at the YMCA. He's a good citizen, a good supporter of all sorts of things. He wanted to make the point, Breanne, are nonprofits that are providing services getting the masks that they need? I ask because Alberta is also sending masks and supplies to other jurisdictions.
Yeah, that's a great question. And we started helping Alberta before the government announced that we had ample supplies to be sending to other jurisdictions that might be in higher need. And what I can say is that, it's fantastic if we're in the position to be able to do that. What we found as helping Alberta is that we have continued to receive requests from areas that care for the most vulnerable populations that may eventually be serviced by Alberta Health Services, but for which the supply had not yet been there. So, for example, shelters. There's a lot of long-term care facilities that had kind of been a bit behind in having the protective equipment that they needed. And so what we've done is we've just tried to make sure that we're getting supplies to where those areas that are in need still have those requirements. And so we've been able to make donations to the drop-in center, the Alex, many locations that care for vulnerable populations that really are potential hotbeds for disease. So I can say that the demand for what we're doing at Helping Alberta has not gone away. The need to protect those groups is still very pressing. But increasingly, we're seeing that AHS is vastly expanding its purview in a very incredible way to start to provide equipment to many facilities that traditionally weren't within AHS's purview. So the government is really stepping up, but it has been a requirement that we have mobilized as a community to protect those frontline workers. And in the work that we've done so far, we estimate that we've been able to protect about 7,000 frontline workers with the work that we've been doing. Even if it's as a stopgap until the government gets the protective equipment out there, it's been filling a gap.
Okay, that's good information to be able to share. There's a lot of confusion about so many different issues, but I think you've cleared up some confusion there. Thanks, Ken, for sending in your question. If you do have questions, by all means, send them in. If you're viewing it on the TEDxYYC Facebook page, you can also send questions to me directly through the Tim Tamashiro Facebook page, because we're simulcasting through both of those pages at the exact same time. If you're just joining me, we're joined by Maria Hoover, who is with Fuse 33, and they're a maker organization that is building PPE, personal protection equipment, from makers in the local area and supplying it to front-end healthcare workers. And we're also joined by Dr. Breanne Everett, who is with helpingalberta.com, and that is an organization that is gathering up personal protection equipment and also gathering donations to purchase more to supply to front-end healthcare workers. These healthcare workers are all dealing with so many stressful days at work, and then having to bring their stress and potential of illness into their homes. How are they protecting themselves, Maria? How does a mask protect them from getting COVID? Do you know?
How does a mask protect? I think Breanne touched on that a little bit. It's when we speak or when we cough a little bit, we have these droplets that come out, right? So when we go back into our homes, wearing a mask and gloves, and you have your hand sanitizer, like we have little bottles that we carry with us at all times, and we try and disinfect everything and leave, shoes out and make sure that you clean everything, wash everything once you get home. So it's a way for us to keep ourselves healthy, to keep doing this.
The face shields, can you hold up the face shield again, just so we can see what one of those looks like? These face shields are worn by front-end healthcare workers, and Maria is now modeling it, and it looks absolutely amazing. It's a simple device, but it's help. How does it help, Breanne? How does that face shield help the front end healthcare workers?
Yeah, so if you're dealing with a patient where there may be respiratory droplet spread coming from that patient, that is going to be a blocker of that from those droplets from getting to your face, and
Yeah.
that would include your face in general, but also your nose and mouth. So ultimately, and then eyes. We're trying to stop those droplets from getting into locations where they can seed infection. So as much as we can protect our faces as possible is important. It doesn't. So there's confusion sometimes around what different masks will do. And N95 masks, for example, are masks that actually create a seal on your face. So they have the ability to filter particles, but they're sealed on your face. So in situations where healthcare workers are performing aerosol generating medical procedures or producing aerosols, like putting a tube in a patient's lungs to help them breathe with an accessory device, is a procedure, for example, that creates aerosols, and those healthcare workers need those N95 masks to create a seal on their face, so you don't have small particles actually going in beside the mask. But in general settings in healthcare, where even frontline workers are dealing directly with patients who do have COVID, the protection is more basic medical masks that don't have that seal. So depending on the situation that a healthcare worker's in, different levels of protective equipment are needed. And the goal of those healthcare workers is to make sure that they're being adequately protected with that equipment, but not overprotecting in a way that we're spreading our resources too thin.
I see. So a face shield would protect any droplets from getting onto the face, into the eyes. Is that a concern that if droplets get into the eyes, that is a way to spread the virus?
Yes.
Okay. Well, now they've clarified that. That's I mean, the face shields themselves seem like a simple piece of equipment to manufacture, but they're incredibly important. That's amazing. We have another question that's just come in from the TEDxYYC Facebook page. This is from Rocio Graham. Is there any way for the general public to get a mask template? Maria, is there any way for that to happen?
Yeah, definitely. We can share that.
Okay. And would that be available at fuse33.com?
Yeah, I don't have it uploaded there yet, but I can make it available. It's very easy. Actually, I should comment too. So the way we make this, when we get the fabric, I wash it first, and then I put it on the laser cutter so I can cut everything. So it's a little bit faster, just speeds up the process a few minutes.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, people can make their own as well.
Okay. Well, that link again, just so you know, is FUSE33.com, and the link is actually down below in the description. Give Maria a little bit to be able to put that design and those instructions up on the website, but there's a way for you to be able to do it, and there's plenty of other ways available online. I know that YouTube has a whole bunch of different ways that you can actually make it out of a handkerchief, or goodness knows, I've seen all sorts of ways to be able to build face masks. So just do a simple search and hopefully you can find something online. A reminder that you as a viewer, you can help both these organizations. You can go to fuse33.com and make a donation so that the makers are able to purchase more supplies to be able to use the laser cutters and to be able to make ear savers, face shields, and face masks. And you can also help out Dr. Breanne Everett and all of her colleagues by visiting helpingalberta.com. If you have a business that is able to provide your supplies to Helping Alberta, you can do that, but you can also make a financial donation to the GoFundMe page that is available through the link that is in the description below. So if you can help out, that would be absolutely wonderful. wonderful. Is there anything here, Maria or Breanne, that you might want to share with us that might be able to help even further?
Maria can go first, and then I'll try.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Um, yeah, I think for us, for example, here at the Makerspace, when we're working together, I think we've got a few questions about how we're working together in the space, right? But one important thing for us to point out is that we have a large space, so we're making sure that everybody's at a safe distance and keeping everybody with a mask and
Yeah.
sometimes a face shield if it's required. But part of us keeping all this is to also keep ourselves healthy. So doing as much as we can
Yeah.
here at the Makerspace, but also when we go back home, just even from a mental health perspective, I myself have to go into my quiet space and just try and do a little bit of breathing. Sometimes things get overwhelming, and it's nice to be able to have a little bit of downtime and take care of ourselves as well.
That is such an important part of us healing, is to take care of our own well-being and to take care of ourselves. That's a tough thing for people to do. I
Yes,
find,
it is.
and we're usually the last in line for being able to help ourselves, especially when we're dealing with all sorts of stress and wanting to help a lot of people. So that's a very good point, Maria. Thank you very much. Dr. Everett, is there anything that you can share that maybe what you need, or a way that other people can help?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that the key is that everybody can help in some way. And it's important to realize that, this is the dealing with a pandemic of this magnitude is not something any of us have ever dealt with in our lifetimes. And, we're not in the clear yet. We're still seeing increased rates of disease, and we're seeing outbreaks that's leading to like pretty high spikes in the number of confirmed cases in Alberta.
Mm-hmm.
And so, apart from just doing what you can to socially distance as much as possible and to follow all public health guidance, is doing a very, very large part in trying to get us to flatten that curve and get on the other end of this, and give our healthcare system enough time to come up with what it needs to be able to see this disease be eradicated, whether it be by treatments or vaccines or a combination of both. So that's the most important thing, is just doing what you can for your community in that way. And then from a protective equipment standpoint, this is not going away quickly. This is something that we're dealing with for months to years. And so it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And
Yeah.
being aware that although we're well supported with protective equipment today, that could change. This is going to go on for a very long point in, or a long period in time, and so there's still a lot that we don't know. Supporting Maria's initiative and helping Alberta in really any way that you can, in terms of either volunteering your time and support, providing donations for protective equipment, and then providing monetary donations if you're in a position to do so. And I think that having that contribution actually goes a really long way in terms of feeling like you have some sort of control over this thing that seems so huge and has impacted our lives in so many ways. It's really impossible to even wrap your head around how it has impacted absolutely every aspect of life. So contributing in a meaningful way to get ahead of this is something that actually is very powerful in terms of how you feel about the situation.
Yeah, that's a very good point, and I did want to let everybody remind everybody that both Maria Hoover and Breanne Everett are working together. Maria and her makers are supplying PPE to Helping Alberta, and it's just so delightful to know that you're out there doing all this good work on behalf of all of us. I think that if there's one point that I might be able to just add to everything that you've already so eloquently put, protecting yourself protects others. And with this time where it's warming up outside and you're seeing a lot more people going outside enjoying the warm weather, just keep that social distancing up in every way. I made a joke the other day with my family that going to the grocery store was like playing that game Hot Lava, and the people were the hot lava, but that helps. Protecting yourself protects others, and if you can keep on doing that, I'm sure that we'll get past this thing at some point in time. We don't have a crystal ball, but your good work is helping others. So thank you very much, Maria Hoover and Dr. Breanne Everett. If you want to be able to help either one of these organizations who are, again, working together, make sure you visit the links that are below. You can go to helpingalberta.com, and there's ways for companies with PPE that you can donate it to the warehouse, and they can spread that out and make that available to the healthcare workers. You can also make a financial donation through their GoFundMe page, and that link is below as well. Maria Hoover's organization is called Fuse 33, and you can go there at fuse33.com and make a donation, and so that they can get some more plastic and they can get some more foam and they can make more of the face shields and face masks and ear protectors. Those ear protectors are probably really, really appreciated. And hand sanitizer, apparently, now you're making as well. Who knows what you'll be making in the future, Maria?
Yeah.
Thank you both for being on the show today, and the very best to you both. Thank you as well for all your good work, and we'll look forward to staying in touch. TEDxYYC, thank you for doing the Level Up conversations, and there's rumors that we might have one more Level Up conversation again in the near future. We just don't have a time. Make sure that you like their page, and you'll get notification about when that is coming up. I'm Tim Tamashiro on behalf of TEDxYYC and the Level Up Conversations. That's it, and we'll see you again hopefully in the near future. Bye-bye.